Welcome back, Gundam guys and Gundam gals. PatrickGrade here from GGInfiniteNews.com. This time bringing you part 2 of the video review for the PatrickGrade Gundam Heavy Arms. We've already taken a look at all the pieces of the mobile suit, how everything opens up and the colors and how it all looks. So now let's go and put everything together and see how the mobile suit looks all completed, as well as take a look at all the accessories the kit comes with. So here we go. So with the legs, this is the attachment point for the missile pods, so make sure to have them on the outside. Alright, so with everything all put together here, I think you get a very impressive looking mobile suit. I wasn't a big fan originally of the orange and red color scheme. Seeing everything together and the colors in person, I think overall it's a very striking color scheme and turned out a lot better than I was expecting. And with the off-white, having kind of a darker white helps out as well. And of course seeing all the gray inner frame showing through on the side fins here, on the ankles, and the torso and stuff, it really helps break up the color scheme and add a lot of variation to it. So while orange and red aren't my favorite colors, it definitely works well with this mobile suit. And the design is pretty unique as well, having the big bulky shoulders, the flat chest, and having the spikes coming off the shoulders that affect its silhouette. And I like how it's kind of blocky and stout, not all streamlined and stuff like the Wing Gundam. So definitely appreciate its aesthetic overall. So as far as articulation goes, with the front skirts lifted up, you can get a real high kick. You get a 180-degree bend at the knee, which is more than sufficient. Minimal back skirts allow you to get all the way back that way. And the side skirts get out of the way as well for splits. And the legs can split quite far apart and still have them relatively flat. For the upper body, torso swivel is a little bit hindered by the bulky yellow piece up here, so you can kind of get it around if you want to scratch against that plastic, but I think it's more than sufficient without it. And there isn't too much side crunch because of the lack of complexity in the torso. Shoulders, of course, are 360 and come away from the upper torso quite a bit, and you can reach across the chest a pretty decent amount. The arms can't go up to the side very far because of these bulky shoulders. And the head is affected by the shoulder-mounted cannons there. So you can get about 90, you can get about 45 degrees or so before you have to start moving stuff out of the way. And it's a very solid kit too. There's no loose parts. The ankles are pretty solid. And it holds its weight really well. But for what the heavy arms lacks in flexibility, it definitely makes up an overall appearance. The more I look at it, the more I really enjoy the look of the kit. So definitely an A+ on the aesthetic design. And because of the shared inner frame between most of the wing kits, you're not going to get too much crazy flexibility out of any of them anyway. So this is definitely a nice solid kit. A real easy build and fun too. It only took me about a day or so to get everything together. So it wasn't a week-long project to get all the pieces cleaned and snapped together like the Full Armor Unicorn Gundam was. So if you want to get a kit done in a weekend, this is definitely a good choice. And the results are overall really nice. So let's move on to the weapons and accessories. So now to take a look at the accessories, starting here with the shield. The shield's pretty pitiful. It's just two pieces, the red and the inner frame gray in the back. It has some nice detail molded into plastic, but overall for PatrickGrade shield, this is pretty sad. It's not a deal breaker or anything, it's a shield and it kind of functions, I guess. But form follows function. It pegs into the forearm pretty nicely on a strong connection there. So next up is the wrist-mounted combat knife. It pegs into place like the shield does on the right forearm. The blade can swivel backwards to be stored, or swivel out to be deployed. The knife has a nice design to it. It's a very rugged combat knife looking kind of deal. But it's just gray plastic, so it would be nice if it was chrome or at least 2 different colors or something. And like the shield, it's pretty simple. Nothing too fancy. So next up are the missile packs that go on either leg. Again, real simple construction. They have nice little doors that open up here to reveal missile pods hidden beneath. And each of the missiles have a little notch molded in there, so it kind of breaks up the monotony of them. The doors function really well. Fold in place nicely, stay there. They don't flop open on their own volition or anything, so strong construction. Some nice deep channel lines at the front here and on the side. They peg into place very well, a real sturdy connection there. They don't fall off. They look nice, it's a simple build, and some nice variation on the overall design. So next up is the somewhat simple yet functional backpack. The color scheme is all inner frame gray, but there are enough individual parts here that you can paint pretty easily to kind of bring out some of the detail. Each of the thrusters are separate, and you can get a little bit of play there, a little bit of swivel and rotation if you wanted to. The arms can be stored up or down, and the notches here are used to connect the weapons and the ammo packs too. A nice sturdy peg here to peg into the back and stay there. And the arms are on a pretty strong joint there as well, so they stay in place where you put them. Again, simple, yet very functional. It would have been nice to have some color separation there, of course, but overall it's fine. A little dry brushing and hand painting can go a long way back here. So here's a look at the ammo canister for the beam Gatling gun. A little bit darker gray than the inner frame gray. Kind of a gunmetal gray. Not quite black, but not as light as the inner frame. It's all the same color, there's no color separation or anything. But again, there's a lot of nice mechanical detail bolted in the plastic that can be brought out with some panel lining or dry brushing or some, hand painting if you wanted to. And here in the bottom is the port where the ammo belt plugs into. And it's off at an angle to help get the ammo belt in place. So a simple piece, see, that looks pretty nice. So here is the segmented ammo belt. It consists of 28 individual segments here, going along the length of that black rubbery cord we saw on the unboxing video, and then capped off by these 2 connection points that plug into the Gatling gun and the ammo canister. So there's a little bit of space between each of these segments, so you can kind of get some bend out of it, and the wire helps hold that in place. It doesn't hold the form perfectly, but you can get the idea of that there's definitely something keeping it in place in there. Just be careful, these 2 connection points, they're prone to pop off in my experience, especially when moving the ammo belt around when plugged into either weapon or the canister. So I would recommend using some thin cement or something to keep these guys together and attached to the wire, because as you can see, with a little bit of help, they can kind of come off, and that will cause all 20 of these things to scatter all over the place and be quite hard to find. So once you get everything ready to go, if you're going to paint it or whatever, after that's all said and done, I would glue the end caps on there to keep them on so they don't pop off and ruin your day. Alright, so a major selling point of the heavy arms is of course the Gatling gun, which is quite a nice looking weapon. And even though it's all in the dark gray plastic, it's very visually appealing. Very reminiscent, of course, of the Gatling guns from the Full Armor Unicorn Gundam. So this is extremely nice, very sturdy, very well built. Unfortunately, there's no spitting action in the barrels. It's solid, but you get a lot of nice detail. And there are definitely some good examples of well-painted Gatling guns to look at. So if you want some inspiration, check out GundamGuide.blogspot.com and see some of the paint jobs done by the pros over in Japan. And here are the pegs that you use to plug into the backpack. And on the end here is where the ammo belt feeds into. And if you wanted to, when it's on this backpack, you can plug in the shield Or I could probably even have it on his arm as well, so a couple options there. So again, a real nice design, nice mechanical detail, very solid construction. It just would have been nice to have some color separation. So I thought I could get everything done in 2 videos, but it looks like I need to have a 3rd video, so stay tuned until tomorrow, where I'll take all these accessories and load this guy up. So of course, thanks a lot for watching. Let me know what you think with a comment down below. And please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you soon.